Hey guys, HDvee here, and welcome back to a brand new video. Now today's video is actually really interesting because an apparent rumor has popped up again months after it initially came out, basically guessing a lot of the things right, and it also talks about the SINNOH remakes in a let's go kind of way. So a lot of stuff to talk about today. So if you're excited for today's video, please do consider hitting that like button down below. Let's try and hit 400 likes today. Make sure to leave a comment as well. Would you be okay with a let's go style SINNOH remake, or would you just want them to be the normal remakes? And then of course subscribe as well if you're brand new. We do daily Pokemon content on this here channel. With all of that out of the way though, let's get into the video and take a look at the possibility of getting a let's go SINNOH remake very soon. So starting things off, it is all because of this here image. Now it's a very short like text, you know, but it has a lot of information, and a lot of truthful information as well at that. He either got super lucky with the guessing or he knows something that we don't. But either way, this came out on the 16th of October last year, which, you know, ironically my birthday. But yeah, it came out last October, and that of course was before Sword and Shield came out. Sword and Shield came out on the 17th, 18th or whatever of November, and this was before everything got leaked, so nobody knew about anything really too much about Sword and Shield apart from obviously that Ben Affleck leak, but that didn't have anything about what is in this leak right now. So there was no way this guy could have known this information unless he knew it because of whether, well, like, it could have been a source or whether he worked on the game or whatever. But basically he just said 4 lines of text. He said Galarian Mr.Mime plus new evolution, which of course was absolutely correct. We got a Galarian Mr.Mime, and then we got Mr.Mime being the evolution of said Galarian Mr.Mime. Then he said fossil Pokemon are made from combinations of fossils you put together. How do you even guess that? Like, as well as the Galarian Mr.Mime plus new evolution, like, two things that came absolutely true. Obviously you have to combine the fossils to make, you know, Dracozolt, Arctovish, Arctozolt, or whatever, and then of course yeah, we got a Galarian Mr.Mime and the evolution. But then it goes on to say next year's games, which is obviously 2020, this year that we're in now, are SINNOH remakes with let's go catching. You're welcome. And then this got dug up because, you know, a lot of it ended up being correct. Obviously there's 3 lines of information and 2 of them have become correct in Sword and Shield. The only one that isn't correct is the let's go SINNOH remake, which of course could be correct. They could easily come out at some point this year. So yeah, obviously this came out way before all the leaks came out in November, because I think they came out like a week before the games did, where we knew like the whole Pokedex and everything. And then obviously we had the Ben Affleck leak, but there was nothing about Galarian Mr.Mime in there and Mr. Rhyme. There was nothing about fossils having to be combined to make a Pokemon. There was nothing about that. So this person either got crazy lucky guessing it, or they know something that we don't. So let's take a look at why this could or could not happen. So of course, if you are not a fan of the Let's Go games, do not worry, because there's still a big chance this won't come true. They could have just got insanely lucky, or they could have just saw those 2 pieces of information somehow and then could have just put something on the end, because obviously if they found out some truthful information, and they're obviously going to put that, and then obviously if that all comes out to be true, everyone's going to be like, oh my god, the rest of it must be true. So that's probably why they snuck on the Let's Go SINNOH stuff, but or they could just all be true. But anyway, as we all know, this year we are getting the Isle of Armor and the Crown Tundra, 2 DLC packs that are coming to Sword and Shield. So if this rumor was correct, then we would be getting these 2 pieces of DLC, plus we'd be getting the Let's Go SINNOH games, which to me seems unlikely, because Let's Go SINNOH is a remake, it is a Let's Go game, but at the same time would probably still be like a main series game, and I can't really see them working on the DLC and a main series game at the same time. But on the other hand, they obviously have 2 separate teams, so one of the teams are working on the DLC and then the other team are working on the next game. We know that, so you're gonna have to make your own mind up about that. It could happen, but at the same time we've also got Mystery Dungeon coming out this game. You know, that was announced in what, like January or February, and then it's out in March. Like, that came out a couple months later, so at any point they could announce a Let's Go SINNOH game. You know, it's not crazy, it's not unheard of. You know, the DLC has taken up most of this year, being coming out in June with the Isle of Armor, and then the Crown Tundra coming out in November, which does kind of separate a lot of Pokemon content. So where would a Let's Go SINNOH game come out? Because usually when they release a main series game, it comes out in November, but obviously the Crown Tundra is coming out in November. They're not going to release a Let's Go SINNOH game and the Crown Tundra at the same time, because Not everyone's going to be affording that. They know that. It's just going to hurt sales. There's no reason to push all of these Pokemon games out. You know, Mystery Dungeon coming out in March is fine because we've got until June until the Isle of Armor comes out. Then we've got another few months until the Crown Tundra comes out. So this year for me is all nice and evenly spaced out for Pokemon content. You know, we're getting Pokemon content constantly this year. So for them to throw Let's Go Sinnoh into the works, it wouldn't make sense to me. But like I say, this rumor got a lot of stuff right. You know, a lot of stuff right. The Galarian, Mr.Mime, new evolution, and the combination of fossils. You can't really predict that, you know. Like, why would they randomly bring combination of fossils now? Like, why would you randomly guess that? We never had anything like that before. And yes, we did know that a couple Pokemon were getting regional evolution, such as Farfetch getting the evolution and stuff. We all knew. I'm pretty sure we knew that by October. But at the same time, guessing Mr.Mime and then getting it right it's just an interesting one. But here we actually have the sales of all the main Pokemon games. We have the spin-off games as well, but we're obviously just more concentrating on the main series games here. So these are all the sales as of I don't even know as of as of 2019 or 2020 or whatever. But this is like the most updated list of sales. So as you can see, remakes actually sell pretty well. You know, we have the Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf game here, which are remakes of Red and Blue. So Red, Green, and Blue obviously sold a whopping 31 million, but then the Fire and Leaf Green games sold 12 million, which is a lot for a remake, because then Gold and Silver sold 23 mil, and then Heart Gold and Soul Silver sold 12.72 mil, and then obviously Ruby and Sapphire sold 16.22 mil, and then Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire sold 14.26 mil. So Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby are the highest selling remake games as of right now. The third installments of games never usually sell very well. Take a look at Pokemon Crystal only selling 6 mil, Emerald only selling 7 mil, and then Platinum only selling 7 mil as well. And then Ultra Ultra Moon only sold 8 mil, which of course is a lot more than the other games, but at the same time, remakes sell pretty well. Then when you take a look at Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, it only sold 11.76 mil, which is technically a remake, but at the same time it's a retelling, because obviously we play as different characters and stuff. So it is obviously going back to Kanto, but it is a retelling. So obviously they sold 11.76 mil. Remakes sell more than Let's Go games, you know. In fact, all the remakes sold more than Let's Go. So Fire Red and Leaf Green sold 12, Heart Gold and Soul Silver sold 12, let's just say, and then Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire sold 14, and then Let's Go only sold 11. All the remakes in the past have sold more than the Let's Go games. So for me, why would they obviously have information about this. Why would they look at that and go, yeah, you know, the remakes sell more, let's make another Let's Go game? It makes no sense to me. I can't really see them making another Let's... And for Sinnoh as well, it's such a random... Like, you'd want it to do, like, chronological order. You'd think they'd do Johto next, then Hoenn, then Sinnoh. Going from Kanto to Sinnoh, to me, doesn't make sense. The only thing that I also don't think that this is true is because... well, I mean, the same... We'll get onto that in a second, but it says next year games are Sinnoh remakes with Let's Go Catching. It doesn't say the games are like Let's Go Sinnoh games. It just says it has Let's Go Catching. Does that mean that, you know, we have to play with a controller or something, and then if you have to put that down and then use your Joy-Con stick or whatever to throw a Pokeball? Because that would be super annoying. So I don't know. Like, for me, I don't think this is true, because we've just got so much Pokemon content this year, and I know they can like sell, I know they can just kind of put Pokemon games out there, just as they have done with like Mystery Dungeon. They got that straight out, you know. But at the same time, it's Let's Go Sinnoh would be a main series game. We already have a lot of Pokemon content this year. Like I said, the 2 DLC packs coming out in June and November, and then we have Mystery Dungeon coming out as well in March. For them to put Let's Go Sinnoh in that bundle makes no sense to me, unless they decided to push the DLC forward and then push Let's Go Sinnoh back. That could easily have been something, because obviously this was found out in October. So maybe they saw all the hate from Sword and Shield and was like, oh god, we kind of have to sort that out. So they've pushed the DLC forward to get more Pokemon into the games to try and kind of like, you know, make everything okay. And they've kind of pushed Let's Go Sinnoh back. That could easily be something that was done, because like I say, this came out in October, a month before the games came out. I don't know. I want to say this guy just got super lucky, but at the same time, the things that he guessed are just like so crazy and like unique. I don't know. It's an interesting one to take, but personally, I would not like Let's Go Sinnoh games. Let's Go games were good, don't get me wrong. I enjoyed Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, but for me, they got super stale super quickly. You know, once you'd beaten the game, there wasn't really much to do. Yeah, you could do all the master trainers and stuff, but God, it was boring. The shiny hunting wasn't too great, because you were pretty much just, you weren't even having to touch your controller most of the time. If you just literally clicked, you know, like Charizard and you was flying on Charizard, you could literally just see all the Pokemon beneath you. You wasn't having to do anything. You just had to wait for the Pokemon to spawn and then despawn and stuff, waiting for the shiny. The competitive was really bad. There was obviously no abilities, no held items, there was no breeding. It was just, for me, it just was like half a game, you know. So for them to go back and do that for Let's Go, for the SINNOH remakes, I think that would really piss a lot of people off, because SINNOH is one of the most loved generations out there. It's one of the best. A lot of people do agree with that. So for them to make a Let's Go version of that, I don't think people would be too happy. But I love to hear what you guys have to say. You know, taking a look at the sales, it doesn't make sense for them to make another Let's Go game. And they even said in an interview as well, I'm pretty sure at some point, that they weren't focusing on a Let's Go game anytime soon. So we have that going for us. Taking a look at the sales, you know, Let's Go has sold less than all of the remakes, and that's even more less than Fire Red and Leaf Green, which came out on the Game Boy Advance, whereas the Switch, you know, Pokemon games are a lot better on the Switch. So for them to sell even less than the original remakes, I don't know, I just can't see them doing it. And yes, this person has guessed a lot for this rumor, but at the same time, maybe they got lucky. I don't know. But let's hope and pray. Personally, you know, you might really like the Let's Go games, which is fair. But for me, I don't really want another Let's Go game, especially for SINNOH. SINNOH is my favorite generation. I don't want them to make a Let's Go game of it. But that's going to be everything that is included in today's video. It's kind of a big video to talk about, because like I say, they did get a lot of stuff right. And I know a lot of people have covered this and been talking about it. So yeah, it's an interesting one for that. But like I say, if you enjoyed today's video, drop a like down below. Make sure to leave a comment. I really want to know what you guys have to say about this. Do you believe this rumor? Has it got enough evidence in the rumor for it to kind of change your mind? Or you kind of just agree with what I've said with the whole sales and the fact that we've got enough games coming out this year and enough Pokemon content for the games coming out this year that we can't really fit in a Let's Go SINNOH? I know there's separate teams working on the DLC in the next game, but at the same time, they're not going to cram technically two pieces of DLC and then 2 Pokemon games all into 1 year. It's crazy to me. But yeah, let me know about that. Subscribe if you're brand new. That's everything from me. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and until next time, peace.